Hello guys, welcome to another League of Legends video, and today we're going to talk about how to use op.gg to help you climb. Now obviously op.gg is a very popular site, a lot of people use it, or they use multiple other websites like u.gg or any other match history tracking website or an account tracking website, or for example League of Graphs. So for this video, we're going to talk about how to utilize it to the fullest extent, and it's going to go over and beyond the casual way of using it. For example, like I will basically try to tell you how I use op.gg, and hopefully it will help you use op.gg almost the same way or even in a better way from what I do. So for this video, we're going to just get a random account. For example, just search for White Warrior, and we track on how to use it. Well, see, this guy is like playing a lot of normal games, and there's nothing we can do from there. Maybe he played rank recently. Well, he did. He is a Pike support mate. So what I would like to do, the things that you really will look at when we view an op.gg account, how we determine something is good or bad, is like the base stats. So number one, the base stats. Track your win ratio, track how many games you have played, and compare it to other players around your elo. And the way that you can get other players, not like just search them out one by one, you can just like open these in new tabs and see how they work, and you can get like both of them, and obviously search the other support, and you're like, okay, so this guy Golale, he has all 54% win ratio, but he played like twice the games that you have. He had like placed these champions, and this is how he got over here. You can basically look at other people's op.gs and literally examine them, see how this guy is. Probably this guy is, he used to be great. Look at his win ratios on Ivan and Kha'Zix, and right now he changed, and this should tip you off about some boosting activities going on over there. And this Diamond 1 person right here, he plays mid lane, top lane, and this is you do it after the game. And then you look at your support counter matchup, and you look at his match history. Is like, okay, so he played ranked a couple of days ago. He was inting his ass out. He was inting on Leona and Blitzcrank. Obviously, he's not the only person that you can like keep going on. Other op.ggs, you see he played against the Thresh, played against the Morgana, he plays against the Lux, and then we try to get some data right now. So after getting your profile sorted out, look at your own ratios, look at how many controls you've placed, look at the champion consistency, your runes, and look at some of the games. So from these games, you've got MVP like 3 times, and this shouldn't really matter since it's pretty kind of random on how they place it, kind of inaccurate sometimes. But you can look at your matchups. So you played once against a Leona, you played once against the Zillion, you played once against the Karma, you played twice against once more against the Morgana, against Janna, against another Morgana. So you can start to understand like what pick is usually being that you're facing the most, and then you start like ranking up the matchup. So get a pen and paper and be like, okay, I'll play this champion once, I play this champion twice, play this champion 3 times. I've won 2 out of 3 games from these 3 times. I've won 1 out of 3 games, and then you will start understanding how well you play each matchup. Right, so that's one of the things that you can do on op.gg. The second thing is how consistent you are. So for example, like when you go on losing streaks, you can say like this guy lost 3 in a row, or 4 in a row, and then he wins 2 games in a row. But like we can't get like exactly when he played that since it happened like a while ago. But you can see like whenever he is going on a losing streak, the guy just continues. Whenever he goes on a winning streak, he just continues on over there. And you really need to understand why this happens, and you're like how much effort he has spent into it. For example, like let's assume that he played all of these games in one day or so. He played a 20 minutes game, 30 minutes game, 36 minutes game, and then he played a 44 minutes game that he honestly he played really decently over here. He had only 4 deaths in 44 minutes, 15 control wards, and somewhat of a very questionable build for sure, since he didn't really get any items that would help against the burst from Orianna ulti, or like all the AoE that they have. There's nothing into it. There's no Locatify and Solari, so that's a tip for this guy. And yeah, that's like the second thing that you can do. How consistent are you, and how many wins can you amass in one gaming sessions? And this will tell you, should you increase your gaming session to make the most of your mental effort, or like decrease your gaming session to Well, limit your losses, because some people focus on the long run. Some people can play like 3 to 4 games, 5 games in a row, just not like it's like nothing. And others, they just, well, they can't really win after 3 games or 2 games. I'm for a person, for example, if I play 2 games in a row, I know my third game is going to be of a lower quality, and regardless of the outcome of the third game, my fourth game is usually really bad. So that's why I limit my gaming sessions to 3 games, and then I'll take a break, then I'll come back again. Alright, so let's go into this guy, and we can like do the same thing. We see that this guy is losing against almost a lot of the... He always loses the Enchanter matchup. This is like the 3 games in here are against Enchanters, and he lost all of these games against Enchanters. So we can just go into ranked solo duo, and I'll prove a point right there. He lost against the Morgana, he lost against the Lux, against another Morgana, then he lost against the Nami, he won against a Yumi, surprisingly, and he won against the Vel'Koz, and he won against against the Vel'Koz. But he was playing something else. He was playing ADC. And he won against the Blitzcrank. He lost against the Nami. And now he played against Butler in this game. And from here we can kind of assume that he really underperforms when he is playing against enchanters, and this will tell us that this is his main issue, and he's either playing too over aggressive. We need to look into the game, obviously, to understand like what's going on further. But right now, from this data alone, we managed to deduce that this guy has a problem against enchanters, and this is something you can do on your own games. You can look at your match history, and then you keep tabs on who you're winning against most, who you're losing against most, right? And this will tell you how you can really start focusing on your flaws. Okay, one more thing. So you can use op.gg to discover the worst matchups that you have. You click on the champion, you will see the rating of the champion that you have over there once this loads. And then we can see like the trends, like, okay, Park is the 33rd out of the 8 support champions that are over there. You can hear strong against strong counter champion, and he's strong against these guys. So now you fix one of the matchups that you have. Like if you have a bad matchup, you can like learn a champion. If you have a good matchup, you can see how you can oppress it even more. And then you can go into counters tab. So the counters tab over here will tell you how well you perform against other champions. Like Thresh is the worst matchup, probably like pick another champion. Pantheon you win back against really badly. And then as you go, you can see like your win ratio versus different matchups. Now you understand how you can expand your champion pool accordingly. So this is another thing that you can use op.gg to help you with, obviously. And you can see like you win against Vel'Koz, obviously, you win against Nico support, if that is ever a thing or returns to be a thing. Or great against Kench, basically against those champions who do not belong to the lane, just like Pyke, honestly. And that's one more used for op.gg. So in this video, we've learned that we can use op.gg to track your own stats, the important ones that matter, right? How many control wards, how consistent you are, your builds, and what builds you could have gotten for. So this is another thing. For example, like let's go for an example for this game. For this guy, he plays Kassadin, and let's see what he builds over here. He plays mid lane topside, as we saw before. So a lot of people are playing normal games. What's up with all the normal game players right now? So for example, like he played Kassadin over here. You can see like how he built the path Kassadin stuff. So normally people go for the Rod of Ages completion first, correct? And then he goes for Tia. And you know, you can sell your potions, see when other people do this, and you can assume that you will be on the right track over there. Over there, I really disagree with the Zhonya's, because I don't think he needed Zhonya's against whoever this team comp was. He could have really dodged a lot of things with his ultimate alone, and he could have done so much better there. You can see like how he builds his Riven. You can see he really has control deficiency whenever he plays a mid lane champion, so it means that he's more comfortable playing top lane rather than he's playing mid lane. And it's obvious whenever he goes live, he's just really focusing on farming, nothing else, and no control was whatsoever. But when he plays Riven, he does a little bit better. This game is an exception, obviously, than the other games that he actually bothered to buy a control ward but not swap his trinkets. And you can see like how other people can play. You could also see whenever you're playing game, you can see like the map and where people tend to die. or when, for example, like you can go into team analysis and see what people usually do and how people die and how many wards they place. For example, Thresh plays 33 wards. You can go and view the kill map, how people try to, like, where people kind of coexist. You can even go and see a ward heat map, but this is on the League client instead. So this will also lets you see other people's habits, and you can do this to every opponent that you played against, and you can see what are the habits that helped him win against you, and what are the habits that helped you win against him, and what things that you need to develop and what things you need to work on. It also can teach you like the bad matchups. So for example, if you're losing to Leona a lot, maybe you should ask your coach or your one of your friends to play Leona in a 2v2 in a custom game. Like he gets his AD carry, you get your own AD carry, and then you try to work on the matchups between you two together. So once you face a Leona in solo queue, it's no longer a problem, if Leona was your problem, obviously. Well, these are, let's recap. So one, your own stats, the champions that you lose against, the habits, the wards. You can see like the kill map, the warding map, so you know how to avoid wards, where to sweep further. Obviously, because people in your elo, they tend to ward at the same similar places, so you can use your sweepers to detect these wards and take them down. Then get your vision accordingly, or like try to assassinate accordingly for these places. These are places that you have to remember by time and by location and by champion. A lot of data for sure, but you can work with that. And by which matchups you can counter, how you can counter these matchups, how to expand your champion pool according to your issues. For example, if you had a problem with enchanters, maybe you should pick something that counters enchanters, unlike the Leona that whenever she went against an enchanter, she just lost. And this is like some tips for you to climb. This is how you use op.gg, u.gg, or other websites, other similar websites for you to climb. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.